Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another In Conversation with Jennie and Mark. We are being super organised this week. It's Monday evening, which is unheard of for us to record this then, isn't it, Jennie?
It is, but last week time just got away with us, didn't it? It was Friday before we recorded, so we need
Yeah.
to be organised this week. It just keeps
So we
slipping
need to be
away.
organised. So last week, not organised. Friday, not good. This week, Monday, yay! More time to think about because we're both preaching this Sunday as well, aren't we?
Yes, well, that's partly why last week ran away with us, isn't it? Because
Uh,
neither of us were preaching.
no, that's true.
But
Anyway, we
but
hope you
yes,
enjoyed
we
it. If you
both
did.
are. We both need a week to think about it.
And we are pleased if you're listening again. Please do let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Anyway, so we are continuing the journey through Epiphany. And the readings in Epiphany are a series of epiphanies. I think that's better, isn't it?
Ooh.
Well, I was trying to think, because actually this comes up every year. Every year we do the wedding at Cana. And I'm sort of like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it becomes one of those stories that, oh, no, I've got to think something new about the wedding at Cana.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm hoping for inspiration from our conversation, Jennie, so I can say something
Okay.
new about the wedding at Cana.
Oh, no pressure then.
No,
Okay.
there's no pressure.
Okay.
So without further ado, shall we get into it? Here it comes.
Yeah, I'll
Are you
read
going
it.
to read it? You're
You
going
can
to read it.
start.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so on chapter 2, verses 1 to 11, I'm going to stop at because that's the
Okay.
lection reading. On the third day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine gave out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what concern is that to you and to me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now, standing there were 6 stone water jars for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water." And they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the chief steward." So they took it. When the steward tasted the water that had become wine, and did not know where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the steward called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guests have become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this, the first of his signs, in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. So, what's your epiphany?
I got a lot of questions.
That's not an
I got so
epiphany.
many questions. I mean,
Go
you say I do
on,
this passage every year, but I still have a lot of questions. So,
hit me
in
with your
no
question.
particular order, to coin a phrase, what is going on between Jesus and his mother? That was
Ah, yeah.
interestingly the commentary I just read, and again, I never realized this. John never refers to Mary as Mary, only ever refers to Mary as Jesus' mother. There you go. You can check that out, but I'm sure it's true.
He
Interesting.
does it. Yeah, well, he definitely
Okay.
refers to his mother at the cross. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Never refers to her by name. That's interesting.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what's going on between Jesus and his mother, or Jesus and Mary, as we would obviously know her? Um, why? Why do this? You know, it's social embarrassment, sure, but there's a lot of problems in the world.
Yeah, why this one?
Why? Why? What's going on with this? Um, I suppose those are probably my two immediate questions, really. Uh, you know, but
Okay.
actually, there's a huge amount in it as well. I mean, those are just good questions in. I think it's just they're interesting questions as a way in, really. What's going on here? Why does John make such a big deal of this? What is John trying to say to us? It's not just about saving a wedding party, is it? Obviously.
No, so I have previously talked about the patience of Mary, and that would kind of follow my theme of the last few weeks, really, because I mean, after all that kind of kerfuffle at Jesus' birth, And then
Apple.
kerfuffle. I think that a
A
kerfuffle
lot of kerfuffle. Yeah.
sums it up nicely to me. And then a bit of a kerfuffle when he was 12 and they lost him.
More kerfuffle.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything about him. And she must have been waiting. She must have been waiting. However, it has struck me this time that they'd run out of wine. The wine had been flowing freely and they had run out. Don't know if I can dare say about the Virgin Mary, but do you think she'd had a bit of wine?
That is wonderfully controversial, Jenny. Um, I
Yes.
mean,
And
is the
but
wine
what I
fake
was
or are they just not ordered enough? Like they just
what
got.
why I'm saying this is because it actually strikes me as more like a bit of banter between mother and son. And I wondered whether they were happy.
Oh, oh my word, we're going to get floods of all the 15 people who watch this are going to be horrified. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You could argue that that Mary isn't telling Jesus to make, is Mary, I mean, it's just playing with the story, really. Is Mary expecting Jesus to make more wine? You know, you might come up to it and say, oh, they've run out of wine, you know.
Well,
Uh, it's
are
just,
they just gossiping? Is it a family member? They're just gossiping. They've run out of wine.
yeah, they've run out of wine. Ooh, they've run out of wine. What are we going to do? Well, what can we do? But actually, there's got to be more to it than that, hasn't there? There's got to be more
Well,
to it.
yes, because why would she say to those servants, do whatever he tells you? It, it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense unless she did
So what's
believe.
going on with Jesus' response? So his response is in the first quite dismissive, really. That's not my well, really, it's not my problem. It's not my problem.
No, wow, it's not his problem, is it? Not originally.
Why are you making this my problem? It's not my time. And of course, this is a massive theme in John, isn't it? All the way through. My hour has not yet come. My hour has not yet come. My hour has not yet come. He says it repeatedly until, for some reason, that again, I mean, that's the great thing about John, really. Until suddenly, some Greeks come to see Philip and say to him, "We want to see Jesus," and Jesus suddenly goes, "Really?
This is
My hour
it.
has come. This is the time." Like, what? What? Why? Why? I don't understand. But
This is the moment we've been
the
waiting
time,
for.
um, and it's all about, of course, it's epiphany. Of course, this is an epiphany. It's an epiphany of epiphanies because, classically, epiphany, the Magi, revelation of Jesus to the
Okay.
Gentiles, but then baptism last week, Jesus's revelation as the beloved Son and anointed by the Spirit with the dove, and now his first sign. I'm guessing that's why we do this every year,
It's
because Jesus,
Jesus's revelation as the winemaker.
yeah, yeah. So continuing epiphanies, this is continual revelation, isn't it? And Jesus is
So is the revelation the fact that he can perform miracles, or is the revelation about abundance and goodness?
well. I'm going to take you to the final verse. Jesus,
Yeah.
but to try and answer that question, Jesus did this, the first of his signs in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory. There's the revelation. So it is a revelation of his glory.
Yeah, that doesn't really mean anything though, does it? Is his glory the
Okay,
fact
well, I'm
that
just sort of trying to play around with that a little bit. I think,
who he is, or
why
is
is it
his
a
glory
revelation? Okay, well,
because,
why is it a revelation of his glory?
well, that's the thing. Is it a revelation of his glory because he can perform miracles and therefore he is the Son of God? Or is it a revelation of his glory because it shows the abundance and the of love and provision?
Well, why are those two in opposition to each other? Why can't they both be true?
Because I've made them in opposition of each other.
Okay, well, just suggesting that they're not. Both those, there's a revelation in both of those things, isn't it? I mean, of course, not the only performing miracles doesn't reveal necessarily as the Son of God. Is there something? But because other people are recorded as performing miracles, aren't they? And they're not all claimed to be the people.
That is true. But they weren't there making the wine and sorting it out, were they? Where were they? Perhaps perhaps Mary couldn't find them.
I mean, they're fascinating. I think the thing that strikes me about this is it's so, and this is partly out of the commentary that I've just read, but actually is
Uh-huh.
sort of not a new thought for me either. But it's also hidden, isn't it? It's also hidden. It's not laid out. It's, nobody really knows what's going on.
There's
Like,
no abracadabra. No.
there's no, nobody really knows what's going on. I mean, there's some people that, the disciples are in on the secret. His mum's in on the secret. The people taking the wine to the steward are in on the secret. Well, the steward doesn't have a clue. He's just like, well, this is good, but why didn't you bring her out earlier?
And the poor people getting married. Not a clue what's going on.
People getting married, not a clue. No, it's all kind of operating underneath the surface. It's all quite subversive, really.
So maybe it was never meant to be the first miracle.
Go on.
Well, maybe my hour's not yet come. That's not how he thought it was going to happen. It wasn't. I don't know whether Jesus had a plan of how it was going to happen, but I don't think this was it. And really, in many ways, he's just put right something, a social situation. I mean, John's told us it was to reveal his glory, but it might have just been to put right the family problem.
Well, it's not necessarily. It's John. I don't know that necessarily John is saying he did it to reveal his glory. He did it, and it revealed his glory. But it's a wonderful kind of revelation of glory in a way. I mean, if you think about all these things, they're all quite hidden, aren't they? Even the appearance of the Magi, and they go off to find him in Bethlehem, and they don't find him in the palace, and the baptism happens in the Jordan, and now this
Yeah, and
is
the baptism happened far out. You're right. Apart from when you look, you see what we're doing is picking bits of the story, aren't we? And when we look at John's gospel, we haven't got all that, have we? We've basically got John going, that's the Lamb of God. That's the Lamb of God. That's the Lamb of God.
we have, and yeah, and they don't base that on anything that they've seen at that point, which kind of ties in a little bit, I suppose, with last week.
Mm.
In Jesus is baptized and receives that amazing affirmation without having actually done anything. Now we see him starting to do things, but actually still very hidden, still very subversive, still under the radar. If you thought you
Is
were
it
wanting to
like
make a
the
big show of,
rumbling? It's like the rumbling waters just underneath. That sort of.
if you're thinking you want to make a big show and a big splash, you're gonna do something a bit more outwardly impressive than this, aren't you? And yet this miracle happens. And I kind of like that. I like that idea that it's a
It
bit.
wasn't so unimpressive though, was it? It wasn't so under the radar that he just provided the same wine that they'd been drinking.
No, it's true. No, it's true.
He really didn't want anyone to notice and to be under the radar. You'd have just provided the same wine.
So again, what I was just reflecting on, and again, this is not my thought. This is just what I was reading about. This, of course, this is a sign of the kingdom. This is a sign of the kingdom arriving, and yet arriving in the midst of, so classically the now and the not yet. That there's these two things going on. The kingdom is the new age is here, dawning in the new wine, and yet it's still in the midst of our lives and day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, and I think in many ways that's a nice holy way of putting what I would take from it. Because I think a wedding is a very normal affair. It is showing just the humanity of Jesus. He was at a wedding with his family and his friends, having fun. It was a very human part. And then there is a divine part where we seem to have made some wine.
So what do you think? Go back to our bit at the beginning around Jesus and Mary. What is going on in that interaction? The sister, they have no wine, and Jesus says, "It's not my problem. It's not my time." And then she says to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you," and then they do, and he decides then, whatever it is that happens in that intervening moment, he decides that he will respond to whatever it is he's seeing in front of him. So, does Jesus change his mind?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I've thought many things over the years, but today I am going with um to be fair, I think this is a fairly usual mother and son interaction.
Okay.
And I can imagine having this sort of thing with Charlie, though he obviously cannot create a lot of wine and perform
That
it.
that would be a shock.
I mean, he can't perform miracles, but that's sort of like, I'm telling you this, he's not interested, and then he realizes that it is important, and that's why I've told him, and then he does something about it. I think it shows his, I honestly think it shows his humanity, um, and the relationships, the normal relationships between him and his mother, and to a certain extent, other family and disciple, well, other family. Um, and yes, he can change his mind. It's not a huge change of mind, is it really? It's one of those. Actually, I think she's forced his hand. But again, I think that seems quite a normal interaction.
So
Um,
here we see, to be theological about it for a moment, then the wonder of the incarnation that God has entered into this human web of relationships and is part,
mm,
which is
yes,
just
and I think we
really,
can separate one part from another, but actually, if
and
anything,
it's not, and it's
actually,
not, and this isn't a big showy thing. It's not. I mean, yeah, okay,
no, it's normal life, and I think that's why
like,
it's important. It's like it's
so what are
normal life.
we? So, a few minutes left. What are we? What's the sort of thing we take this for our own lives, or when we're sharing with our congregations? What are we saying?
Um, I think I would be drawing on that Jesus is working sometimes unseen within normal everyday life. I would probably build a little bit on his relationship with his mother. The fact I believe that this is supposed to be humorous, a humorous interaction. I mean, the way we read it can sometimes sound a little bit harsh.
Hmm,
It's a woman, nothing to do with me. But I do believe it's that Jesus was funny. It was probably a humorous interaction.
hmm.
Um, Probably not going to use the word banter in my sermon, but that sort of thing.
Bit of bants.
Obviously, that's what I'll say.
Yeah, that would be good. I dare you.
Um, I
Buy you
don't think.
after service coffee if you say a bit of bants in the sermon.
Oh, I could say it after service coffee, but
Um, and in our own lives, so God is at work under the radar, not not always obvious. It's not always
yeah, well, I think
churches.
we know that. Sometimes I feel he could perhaps be a little more obvious. But it's okay. I wouldn't mind if he was. But yes, I think I can take that on board too. What about you?
Yeah, I guess just go back to the interaction between Jesus and his mother. It's her command to the servants to do whatever he tells you. That is the classic Christian call, isn't it? To follow Jesus and do what he tells you. And when they do that, and it must have been pretty difficult for the servants. They've got to go and they have
No,
to think, right, they have a
it's not a
plan.
small amount of work, is it, to fill
Well,
those
it's like
water
they've got to fill
jars?
up all these jars with water by the look of it, and then they've got to draw the water out, which let's face it, they've just put in the jars and take it to the chief steward and go, "Here's some more wine." I mean, so that is definitely a, it's
I
definitely
mean, I have touched on this only last year, so I can't repeat it really,
yeah,
um, but there've got to be some questions there. People have got to be asking them why they're filling the water jars when that
yeah,
bit's done.
yeah. So
Um,
good on the
and,
servant.
and and surely the steward's going to be asking them why they said there was no wine and now there is wine. Um, but yeah.
um, and then yeah, and all this is a revelation of glory, which of course is what there's so much in John's gospel, isn't there? He said in John 14:1, the word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. And here he is. This is it. It's starting to be revealed. And it's still being revealed
Hmm.
in our own lives. and that's exciting.
Well, tell your face. That's better.
It's
That's
exciting.
exciting.
Jazz
Oh,
hands.
jazz hands
Oh,
too.
I'm now doing jazz hands. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, there we go. That is just a few very random thoughts on the wedding at Cana. Do let us know what you think. If you're listening, we'd love to hear. If you've got to this far, that's great. We will be back next week. Don't
We'll
quite
have
know
a whole week to make a sense of this. You know, this
organized, or will we be like massively pushing it? Only time
next
will
week.
tell.
I don't think we'll be this organized next week, do you?
Probably not. Anyway, thanks everybody. Take care. Have a
Thank
good week.
you.
Bye.
Bye.